We've got Carlos here today, but you know what? Carlos is actually my co-host, and we've got our guest dialing in, Ben Bicknell.
Welcome.
Look at that
show.
Yes.
I know. I'm just on the other side of this call. I'm traveling. Ironically, the one time we could get our amazing guest, Carlos Escobar, into the studio was also the same time that I happened to be in Sydney for a Barista League event, which is great. But unfortunately, I saw you guys start off the episode there drinking some incredible coffee. Carlos, you brought some presents in?
Yeah, I just brought Laurina from Colombia. Like, it's not this one specifically, but then you can try it later on. I'm going to leave it for you to try.
You walked in with it as I was already like brewing up some of the counterculture coffee that we got. So
counterculture.
This is, we just did a hot take on the last episode about a blend, which this is. So,
so maybe not
on that one.
Well, I can tell you, blend or otherwise, it was way better than what I was drinking here. I'm sitting in my little Airbnb. I'm trying to drink coffee that I wouldn't normally kind of taste. And so this is from a Nespresso machine. It's a pod coffee, but it's like a L'Or, whatever that brand is.
Apostrophe.
Yeah.
French. Is that one of the French ones that Simon's been raving
it's
about?
So delicious.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. It's in my Airbnb. I got to drink it. But that's what was coloring my conversation during our thing was a pretty rough little pod coffee there. But yeah, I wish I was in the studio with you guys.
Absolutely. Well, first off, I'm going to say, if you haven't listened to the previous episode where we talked to Carlos about creating value in origin, about his story, super inspirational, super knowledgeable, amazing episode. Go back and listen to that first and then come back and listen to this one. And we're back here. And now I'm going to throw our producer, Liam, under the bus and be like, what did you love about that episode we just had with Carlos?
So many things. Carlos, thank you for coming on. I think it's refreshing to have someone actually also a single origin human, it's just coming from the source. I'm born and bred on the farm. And it was just really interesting to hear that in Colombia, that the only coffee that you can get is Colombian coffee and that the quality is actually bad because they export it all. I feel like it's absolutely not the same culture, but interestingly, like here in Australia, if you like the first thing that came to mind is like we export Foster's, right? A beer, but it's a low grade.
Yes.
We actually export our lower grade stuff. And it's that's interesting that it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Whereas like you export only the luxury or only the beautiful high quality stuff and you're left with not that, I love that you're changing the game.
Obviously, it's been changing, but what's that perspective like in Colombia? Like before you started kind of having the more specialty side, was coffee just coffee and it just tasted like a certain roast and whatever?
That's a great point and good opportunity to tell a little bit of like a story or like why is that? Because when I saw that, when I got back to Colombia and realized like, but how bad the coffee is here. Like it's just, I cannot believe it. And then I started like digging into, okay, where this comes from, why Colombians accept this low quality coffee. And I realize, and maybe I don't have any papers or stuff like that, but I noticed that it's part of our culture and that is actually a good, beautiful thing of the Colombian culture and something that has affected the industry. Now, what I'm saying, in Colombia, wherever you go, they offer you a coffee. That's a beautiful thing. So you go to the doctors, the first thing the receptionist does is, hey, good morning. Would you like a coffee while you wait? And it's kind of like, yeah, sure. And you just have a coffee while you wait. You go to restaurants and before they sit you, they might offer you, would you like a coffee while you wait for your table? Or after, they offer you a free coffee. Here, this is where the problem is coming. I'm getting into that. Funerals. That's actually the funny, it's always like a joke in Colombia. Like that's where you drink coffee a lot. Like, like in funerals, coffee is free. But like, and so because people is just there, like just waiting, doing nothing, you just drink and drink and drink coffee. Free coffee. So again, first thing you go, wherever you go, the culturally, you're expected to be offered coffee. Beautiful thing. Wow, Colombian, so friendly, so warm. Wherever you go, they offer you a coffee. Cool. That's the good thing. Now, the bad thing is the fact that coffee is seen as something you would give for free means it's a cheap product. You never see in Colombia or anywhere in the world, would you like a free glass of wine? A second, you finish. Would you like another one? Would you like a third one, a fourth one for free? Or let's talk beer. Beer in Australia, craft beer, amazing beer making country, right? Do you see a place where you go, would you like a free beer? And you finish, and then immediately a second one, and a third one, and a fourth one. And yes, of course, we're talking alcohol, and this is coffee, but it's the concept. It's the concept that...
You got me a little excited.
Like, it's the concept of like, then you know that it's such a high quality product that it has a value to it. Now, in Colombia, culturally, coffee has been seen as is that cheap that can be free. That can be, and it will be free wherever you go. Like you go and the first thing is, would you like a coffee? Like a free coffee. No one dares to charge for a coffee. So then the expectation of the market is that coffee must be extremely cheap. Yeah. And again, what you find in supermarkets, when I'm telling you cheap, is like cheap, incredibly cheap. Now, imagine the challenge for roasters that want to do something different, or roasters that want to say like, hey, but wait, how about we use better quality coffee? Well, better quality coffee clearly will have a higher value. And now, when there's roasters that say, let's leave the best, not good quality, let's leave the best quality coffee we produce in the country. Well, you can imagine the massive price gap that there is from what is locally consumed to what it can be. So again, beautiful thing of the Colombian culture, but it did so much harm to the industry and to the perception of coffee as a product.
I also wonder about those things as well where, you know, if coffee just tastes a certain way, that's kind of what you know it tastes like. So you wouldn't even question that it's bad or could taste better or whatever, you know. I mean, there's a company here called Pep, which is starting to do like a single origin pepper or whatever. But it's one of those things where no one at home has ever questioned where their pepper comes from. They just put it in the grinder and go for broke. And so you don't question any different until something different comes along. And then you're like, oh, maybe we should. So you're doing amazing work over there and like, or one of the people in like, you know, opening up that world.
So it's, again, changing the culture, which is so difficult. But hey, someone needs to start doing it. And
how much is that difficult, Carlos, in terms of like, there's, you know, you're obviously saying we should have better quality, but like Rowan just said, if you're always drinking a particular flavor profile and people expect that's how coffee tastes in Colombia, right? They go, oh, this is what I expect and I put sugar with it or whatever else. How difficult it is for you. You're starting a roasting business and brewing and serving out like different tasting coffee. How much education are you having to do with the consumers?
You just said it. That is the biggest challenge right now in Colombia. But you know what? Like, I think it's the beautiful thing of it. Like, I'm actually enjoying that challenge a lot. Yeah. And maybe that's like the biggest thing where the name came from, you know? Like, I clearly, for Colombians, I always explain this, like, maybe diferente is not so diferente out of Colombia because you are used to amazing coffees here, right? But in Colombia, you try a diferente coffee and like 9 out of 10 people will be like, wow, this, that. And I love when they say, this does not taste like
That's
coffee.
Not coffee.
And I was like, wow, you know what? This is where I go and say, well, it's diferente, it's different. It's coffee that does not taste like coffee.
I remember taking my ex's old nonno to like Seven Seeds, like early days when it was opening, which is a specialty coffee place here in Melbourne. And he had the coffee and it's good that they add something. And I'm like, what does this mean? He's like, he couldn't comprehend the flavors that he was having. He's like, they're adding fruit flavors or whatever to it. Okay. But I mean, as much as that must be challenging over in Colombia, it also must be fun because I don't know about other baristas, but for me, the number one thing was when you got someone into your coffee shop who maybe didn't know a whole lot about specialty coffee, but was really interested by it. And you got to introduce them to all these different coffees and flavors and just see that like excitement from doing it. So it sounds like you might get to do a bit of that.
Oh, man, I love it. To me, this is the reason I do it. You know, like when someone actually says like, wow, since I had that coffee, I have never stopped looking for specialty coffee. To me, it's like, oh, that's success. You know, it does not matter if it's not reordering a customer of diferente. It's just about moving it from commercial coffee to specialty coffee. Believe it or not, we're still in that movement in Colombia, right? Like here, it just sounds now a thing of the past. Like everyone here understands the concept of specialty coffee. In Colombia, we are in that, right? Like we are like showing people what specialty coffee tastes like and how different to the other is.
Now, Carlos, are you ready to play a game? Now, as we're talking about a producing country and we're talking about, who's drinking that coffee, it made me think, what country in the world drinks the most coffee per capita? Let's take some guesses. Liam, we'll start with you. Who do you think?
Drinks the most? I feel like this is incorrect, but I just want to throw it in early. Is America, like in general.
Yep.
Like they're always doing big batch percolated coffee. So like, an espresso shot is only so much, but they're always punching up batches.
24th on the list.
Whoa.
Okay.
24.
Maybe the highest actual consumption, but per capita, 24th on the list. Carlos, where do you think?
Okay, Denmark.
Denmark's getting closer, number 6, but no.
Damn it.
Ben?
The Netherlands.
Number 8.
Further
But
away.
You guys are on track here. It's a lot of like Nordic countries. Let's go through the top 5. So at number 5, we have Austria drinking 2 cups a day on average. We've got Norway, who drinks 2.5 cups a day on average. Sweden, 2.59. Finland, 3.7. And the number 1 consumer of coffee in the world per capita, Luxembourg, with 5.31 cups a day. Luxembourg.
Wow.
What are they doing up in Luxembourg? They are jazzed up.
I think not much daylight and a lot of cold weather. Drink the coffee.
Yeah. Imagine drinking on average 5 cups a day. So when you're saying that, there must be people that are pumping out 10 cups a day.
I was going to say, if that is the average, imagine people that are above that.
That actually makes sense. My ex's family is from Luxembourg, born and bred, and he's wired. He doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. Makes sense.
And for our Australian listeners, we rank 24th or 25th, just below the US with 1.14 cups a day.
How about Colombia? Not even. It's like...
Scrolling. 41. 41 with 0.6. Which with all the free coffees you're giving out.
Is that bad? Imagine.
Just give Differente a couple more numbers coming up.
That is true. Challenge accepted.
Right? The bottom, because I know it's growing. Maybe this list is a little old because number 65 on the list is India.
Yeah,
I believe
it's on average.
Yeah.
So there's a huge growing segment and the speed of
still
growth
majority tea.
Yeah.
And Brazil. I want to know Brazil.
Brazil.
I think that's the biggest producing country and biggest consumption.
Is 50.
Yeah.
Brazil. 18.
Wow, look, that is a big example of big local consumption in a producing country. Yeah. And there's a funny story there. My dad used to live in Brazil, like in a part of his life. And he told me like the big thing they did there, it was like a government marketing thing to promote coffee consumption. They changed the word breakfast. So they stopped calling it breakfast. They started to call it the translation of the morning coffee. So whether you have coffee or not, you should say, hey, let's go have morning coffee. I think something, don't quote me on this, I don't speak Portuguese, but it's like café o mañana or something like that. And that is the word or sentence to refer to breakfast, to food in the morning. So the moment they add the word coffee into that, now it changed everything because, the myth, which is a myth, that kids cannot have coffee. Kids, that's not true, man. Like in Colombia, people drink coffee since you're 4 or 5. In Brazil, it's like that because they say that you grow up calling morning coffee. So since you are a kid, well, you don't have 10 cups, but you have a tiny bit, right? And that's how you get local consumption to go nuts.
I can just...
Whoa. Hang on. Something's coming through in my ears. Hang on. Is that our reporter in the field?
I think it might be.
Is that Ollie from Condesa Collab? Hit us with that weekly report.
Hey Ben, hey Rowan. Hope you are both well. Really good to hear from you. Right now, I'm coming to you from Singapore and it's Wednesday, the 26th of November. So this week, the market is at 383.30. That's on KCH. That's March 26 contracts. And last Friday, we saw the level go as low as 351. But interestingly, this week, we find ourselves back at the higher end of the range. So the market is ranging from between 393 on the upside and 360 at the lower side. The question is, what is causing us to be trading on the high side when there are actually so many bearish factors? What are these bearish factors? Well, the tariffs have been removed, which is why we saw the market drop so hard last week. The weather is still really positive across the coffee belt. And although we did see a little bit of dryness this week, in Brazil, moisture levels, most importantly, at a really good level. Forecasts for the Brazil crop and generally for the coffee crop in total for 2026 is also positive. And whilst we haven't seen definitive numbers come out, and that won't happen until January next year, early indications are really positive. As well as that, US dollar is strong against the Brazil real, which will encourage selling and the market to test those lower levels. So those are all the bearish factors. But the two key bullish factors, the reasons why the market is staying high, is because ultimately the ICE bag numbers are still very low. They're at 405,000 bags, with only 45,000 bags still pending to be grading. We're also anticipating some low unemployment data coming from the USA. That is also a key indicator and could provide support to the market. It's worth pointing out as well that the majority of coffee is not where it needs to be. It's still at origin and not at consuming countries, but it is flowing, and it will take a little bit of time to come through. This then is what we feel is keeping the market on the upper side of the range rather than the lower side. And what will be interesting is when we see COT report numbers come through at the end of this week, as well as the US employment data details, which will be key data points for further analysis going into next week. Guys, I really loved your insights from Bridging the Gap from Origin and Carlos's talk. It's one that's really important for our consumers and roasters to really understand so they get a reality of what's going on origin and how it impacts us in consuming countries. That's it from me, gents. Back to you, and always, it's just coffee.
Carlos, what did you think of that weekly report?
That was great.
Yeah, wow. I agree.
It's so many changes. Like in the past couple of weeks, that number has just been going all over the place.
Couldn't agree more. Now, the last thing I just want to quickly touch on is, and it's also redundant because you've been coaching Simon. Everyone knows Simon, friend of the show, been on, founder of Apax Lab. I've got him here. So you've been coaching him for the Australian Brewers Cup Championship, which is going to be tomorrow. So by the time this comes out, it'll all be
we'll know the results.
And we'll know the results. So the first one is off the take, because you could be completely wrong here. Does he win?
100%.
There you go.
No doubt.
You heard it here first.
My money's there, yes.
Now, we've talked a lot about competitions and that, but one of the interesting things that I want to talk about with Simon, and maybe that you've had some experience with, is his idea of innovation, growth, and his love of water and how water affects when brewing coffee. Now, we've seen a lot of competitors in the competitions use the waved machine, right? Where they're taking this electromagnetic.
Ultra low frequency magnetic waves.
There you go. Ultra low magnetic frequency waves or whatever. Put into the coffee to enhance like sweetness and flavor and those kind of things.
Look, I got to be very honest with you. We have not been able to understand the science behind it. But what I can guarantee, or based on my opinion and my taste, is you taste coffee with water that has been waved and coffee with just the neutral, right? The normal water. 10 times out of 10, it changes.
Yeah.
It changes.
For good or bad, but it
correct.
changes.
So it changes.
Yeah.
So saying because there is no article, it does not have an effect, that is simply false. That is simply my point.
So comments, I'm just like, no, I've done it. Regardless of whether it's good or bad.
That's different. That's That's subjective. See what I mean? That is now that is your opinion is subjective. I don't like it. That's okay, but it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Like for people to say like that is not true. It's kind of saying or implying there is no change. And of that, man, like I'm, like 100 tests and 100 tests, you would notice, yes, that's different.
But there's
maybe
a
worse.
few big things that I want to call out that I feel like are going to make waves, pardon the pun, if we look at it, is Nemo won the AeroPress using the Apax and using waved as well. And also Simon's been playing with not waving the actual coffee, so not putting the device into coffee, but waving water before brewing. And he's actually found that doing the water beforehand has better effects in his tests. Right? Than actually waving the coffee itself. And so if Simon can come out and win the Australians and go to the Worlds using both this and win the AeroPress, it starts getting hard to push it to the side and ignore.
I'm going to give you a better example. Jack Simpson.
Yeah.
Just won
the
World Barista Championship using that.
Yep.
So again, like some people might say, nah, but that is whatever. But again, I invite everyone before saying, if they believe it or not, to test it. Like it's very easy to say something when you just when you're reading a post.
I always say that in the comments.
Go taste it, and then you say that there's no change, man. It's sad.
When someone comments something like, "Oh, this is BS," or like that's whatever, I just reply, I'm like,
"Have you tried?"
Oh, really? I just go like, "What did you find in your experimenting, and what did it taste like?"
Nice.
And it's just a straight question. Just be like, "Oh, what did you find when you tried it?" And it's like, "Well, I haven't." And it's like, "Well, then
there you
what?"
go.
You know, then
what are we talking about?
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
And
I
just
think
one thing.
It's super interesting because these technologies and these tools, it's not to say that they're the be all and end all or that they have to be there for great coffee to happen. I think they're just, like you were saying, they make a difference when everything else is the same. And so there's a difference. And again, whether it's better or worse, is probably a matter of debate. But they're another tool, but there's all of these other decisions that come into great coffee that have to kind of come together. So it's only when everything else is the same and you apply that, how does it shift things in a different direction? But as you pointed out,
1% we talk about, right?
Exactly, yeah. And as you pointed out in the episode with yourself, Carlos, it's like, all of that doesn't matter if you're using 18-month-old green coffee in your brew and you're like, yes, I changed the taste of this really papery, cardboard, old crop coffee. Woohoo, success.
And look, I'm just going to close it with something there. If the food industry would be waiting to have papers and science-backed up things for every test they do, we would still be eating cardboard and water, like
cardboard and water.
Exactly, something like that. Like again, like it is not the barista's job to do the science behind. Man, someone is interested in that, go do it. But it is the competitor, the barista is the only thing they need to do is experiment, is pushing boundaries. That's where everything started. Now, someone is interested in doing a paper on that. Welcome, but we cannot be. If there's no paper, you cannot do it. Man, we have to stop that thinking. We have
keep innovating.
Yeah, correct.
And to finish off, you got an industry shout out in the last episode. I'm going to get one this episode. This one's to you, Luxembourg. Keep doing your thing.
Keep on, Ricky.
Thanks for listening in. You can always hit us up at our email at hello@itsjustcoffeepod.com. And you know what? That last episode, share it with a friend, share it with 20, because that was an absolute banger. We're bringing in the best guests, the best people, and we're doing it all for you. And we're making this thing bigger and better. Carlos, you're an absolute superstar. Thank you for joining us. Ben, thank you for getting up early and dialing in from an Airbnb. We love your commitment to the pod. Liam, thank you for running it all. And he's going to say something to me. He's got something. What am I missing?
We'll actually be sharing Ben's amazing setup with everyone because it was an amazingly committed.
Go check out the socials to see.
It looks really professional from your end, but on my side, I traveled and I forgot a tripod for my phone. I've got a tripod for a microphone, but it didn't have the right thread on it. So currently what I'm looking at I'm making it happen. It's all bodged together.
For those, it's in a dish rack. Let's just be straightforward. Dish rack. Stop trying to beat
a dish rack.
Yeah, that's where you put me.
But yeah, like as Ron said, thank you everyone for listening in and for kind of continuing to support us. I am super excited. We have got some more incredible guests continuing to come up, like the people that we're going to be releasing episodes with in the coming months. I'm just pumped to have the conversations with them. But if there are particular topics or problems that you think we should be tackling and trying to shed some light on, we're here for that purpose. So drop us a DM or drop us an email. Let us know if there's someone that you really think we should be talking to.
And if you're a coffee professional wanting to push your career in more of a media side, whether it's journalism, film, anything like that, always drop us a line. We're always looking for people to jump in. And maybe I'll just ask this question here, but Carlos, would you like to be an official representative of It's Just Coffee for Colombia?
Oh, man, we'd love to.
There you go. We've just
put him on the spot.
That's the interview.
Okay. That's your interview, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Take that. He said, yes, it's on camera, and we've actually got 4 jobs that you need to finish for us, 4 interviews set up over there. No, but we love building our community around the world, and we want to make sure that every area of the world is represented on this podcast. Thank you for listening in, guys. We love you all, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everyone.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a quick word from one of our sponsors, Apax Lab. Elevate your coffee experience with Apax Lab mineral concentrates. Apax Lab's precision-engineered formulas, including tonic, jam, and lilac, are designed to enhance the coffee's natural flavors. Not going to change it, it's just going to enhance it. It's going to bring out the vibrant acidity, the rich sweetness, or if you use lilac, it might bring out those delicate floral notes that you've been looking for. Trusted by world-class cafes and even barista champions, Apax Lab helps you unlock your coffee's full potential. Discover more at apaxlab.com. Wait, where was that again, Sonam?
The internet.
Oh, okay. Thought I was going to say the website. Thanks.
We put so much effort into our espresso, dosing, distributing, tamping, weighing. But then in so many cases, a cafe will just take whatever milk they happen to have available and throw it in and call it a day.
I know, and milk actually makes up 70% of all coffees ordered. So you could argue that great milk is just as important as great coffee.
Definitely could argue that.
Oh, I couldn't, I did.
Our great sponsors of the podcast, Riverina Fresh, have a milk that is made for coffee specifically, and it's used by some of the best cafes around the country and, in fact, World Barista Champion.
Yeah, this gold range that they actually have here was designed alongside a World Barista Champion to be richer and more indulgent to pair perfectly with coffee.
If you want to check it out, they are doing a sweet deal for Australian-based cafes, and you can get a free trial.
That's exactly right. You can get a free trial straight to your door. Just head to riverinafresh.com.au and see if your cafe is eligible. And why wouldn't you? Serve up the same milk as World Barista Champions. Today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors at Eco Barista. The reason I sound like this is because they got massages at our stand at Mice, and so I'm getting a massage while recording this message for you. They're the best sponsor of the pod that we could have had. They have the best eco products. This probably sounds really pornographic, but it's not. I'm just getting a massage. They have the best eco-friendly coffee products. They got coffee bags that you can design yourself. They got cups. They got iced coffee cups. They got everything you need. So make sure to support them because they support us. Head to ecobarista.com.au and get 15% off your first purchase when you sign up. Oh, mama, that's good.